Your reputation for toughness is going to impact your opportunities. I'm going to say this again. Your reputation for toughness will impact your opportunities. There's a huge difference between hurt and harm. And just because something hurts doesn't mean it's actually causing lasting damage. Temporary pain that doesn't risk injuries doesn't need to be avoided. Pain is multidimensional. Your stress, your sleep, your nutrition, all of it, your mood can influence how much pain you feel. You can't play baseball and live a meaningful life without experiencing pain. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Next Season Podcast, episode 36. And this is part one of a special two-part series all about pain and toughness, two things that every single athlete deals with. And if you're not living in a bubble and not laying on a couch all the time, then everybody in life is going to deal with as well. And here's the truth. You can't play baseball and live a meaningful life without experiencing pain. You're going to get dinged up. You're going to get bruised. You're going to get embarrassed. You're going to have your heart broken. The question isn't if pain is coming. The question is always, how do you handle it? And here's why it matters. Your reputation for toughness is going to impact your opportunities. I'm going to say this again. Your reputation for toughness will impact your opportunities. Because coaches notice and teammates notice. And if you've built a reputation for battling through pain and staying in the fight, people believe you when you're hurt, when you're actually hurt. They trust you because they know if you're sitting out, if you can't go, it's real. But if you're known as the player who's always limping or wincing or complaining, you got something nagging you, even real injuries are not going to get the same respect. Coaches lose patience, teammates roll their eyes, and your opportunity is going to shrink fast. Remember, reliability and dependability are currency. We talked about this before. So toughness isn't about just what you can endure. It's about what your reputation says about you. Here's the breakdown of what we're going to do. Part one today is the neuroscience of pain. What it is, it's how it works, and why you experience pain in a way that's more complex than you think. And then part two, I'm going to give you some things you can do about it, right? Because it doesn't make sense for me just to tell you, here's what's going on without what you can do about it. So we're going to give you some actionable tools to build toughness and resilience. I'm going to give you first a tool that's going to help you develop in preparation of, and just understanding it's going to happen. You're going to get hurt. You're going to get injured. You're going to experience pain. I'm going to give you a tool that's going to help you develop in preparation for that. Then I'm going to give you a tool that's going to help you respond in the moment, something to do right then and there. And then a tool that's going to help you recover better and faster. Okay. So preparation in the moment and then recovery. So let's dive into part one and start understanding what pain really is. Pain is multidimensional. This isn't just the ache in your shoulder after a swing or the sting of a cleat, right? That you get cleated when you're covering a base. It's multidimensional. It's physical, it's sensory, it's emotional, it's mental. Your stress, your sleep, your nutrition, all of it, your mood can influence how much pain you feel. If you have poor sleep, you're more sensitive to pain. If your stress is high, that pain's going to feel worse. If you're eating poorly, inflammation will drive those pain signals up higher and slow down recovery and performance. Research shows that certain foods can trigger pain responses. So your gut can actually develop new sensitivities after an infection or after pain. Okay? There's a lot of people in the industry circles now that are saying that they're calling your gut like a second brain. So what you eat can literally change how much it hurts to experience these pain, these things on the field. Those sore shoulders, those sore backs, sore legs. Your nutrition can impact how your body responds to those things. Pain isn't just a signal; it's protective, and that's why scientists use what's called the biopsychosocial model: biological, psychological, and social. So biological is the tissue damage, it's the nerve function, it's genetics, it's a whole bunch of stuff related to the physical body. Psychological, your mood, your stress, your beliefs about pain, right? Do you believe that pain is a nuisance, or do you believe that pain is sometimes required for growth? Do you believe that sometimes it's just the nature of what we do and it comes with the territory, right? It's the price of entry. Okay? Worrying or catastrophizing can make pain worse. Having a positive outlook and understanding I'm going to recover. It might suck along the way, but I'm going to be okay. And that can help recover faster. The social aspect, cultural pressures, teammates, coaches, family reactions, all of those three things, biological, psychological, and social, combine to create this complex multidimensional model of what is pain. Here's another factor that leads to some complexity with what is pain, why it's not a simple answer. Your nervous system can actually stay oversensitive after an injury. It's called central sensitization. And there's a guy named Dr. Sean Mackey, who's a leading pain researcher, who explains how the brain can keep pain alive after the injury heals. So we have an injury, we experience pain with that injury, and the brain can keep that pain alive even after that injury or the injury site has healed. And that's why two players with the same injury can have totally different experiences and totally different recovery process. So this is again another factor in how pain is complex and multidimensional. Chronic pain, pain that lasts longer than 3 months by definition, affects millions of people and costs billions in medical care every single year. Some doctors don't even want to separate what is physical pain from what is emotional pain anymore. Pain is pain. And so they treat the whole person as part of their approach. Now, I do want to add just a thought process, just a piece of advice, parent to parent, coach to parent, coach to coach. One tip that I have, if you have a kid that experiences an injury or pain on a field, your reaction matters. I'm going to strongly encourage you and try not to overreact and to rush in. Athletes, kids are going to pick up on that. If they see you rushing out there, if they see increased stress or anxiety, if they see you freaking out, they're going to consciously and subconsciously react and start to catastrophize what this is. Now, obviously, there's going to be situations where there's big time, you got to get out, right? There's going to be those moments where you have to get out, but try to slow down, try to give yourself some space. I'm going to use an example, and I may have shared this on a previous podcast. I don't remember. We were at a tournament and my son ran face first into a fence. He was going for a pop up. He kind of dove into the fence, hit the pole, was knocked out for a second. I walked onto the field. I did not want him getting out, him seeing me rush out there. Now, other coaches, they ran out. Parents that were on the sideline, they were there. I knew that he was going to be okay. It was a scary moment, but I very consciously did not want to freak him out by me rushing out there and being panicked. I got out there. I stayed calm, asked if he was okay, asked what was going on. We went through the tests, walked him back, sat him down, and we were very diligent about everything, but I was doing my best not to freak out. I know it can be hard sometimes, but this is very, very important. As best you can, try to keep your own emotions in control of the situation, stay calm, and that'll help mitigate their response to whatever pain or injury they might be experiencing. So again, pain is multidimensional. So with that in mind, let's talk about how we can get practical. There's a huge difference between hurt and harm. There's a huge difference between injury and pain. And just because something hurts doesn't mean it's actually causing lasting damage. Pain, again, is a warning system. It's a signal. But not every warning means danger. Some pain is temporary, right? It's a bruise, a soreness, pushing your limits, right? Other pain signals are real injury that needs attention. I use this example when we talk about emotional control. It's a smoke alarm. The smoke alarm is going to go off. Obviously, if I've got smoke in our house and we're on the verge of our house burning down, it's also going to go off if I burn the bacon as we're cooking breakfast. The smoke signal doesn't have the ability to distinguish between what is real danger and what is just me burning bacon, which could be real danger in some cases, but I digress. Okay. It's just telling us there's something going on. Pay attention, get focused, solve the problem, wake up, get ready. But it doesn't say your house is burning down or you're burning bacon. It's just giving you the signal. Your brain works the same way. It's important to be able to distinguish what is the difference between pain and injury. Take Cal Ripken Jr., for example, the Iron Man. Baseball's Iron Man. Just recently, they had the 30th anniversary of when he broke Lou Gehrig's record for consecutive games played. So he talks about it. There was some luck involved with that streak, right? But there's also a whole lot of toughness that goes along with it. Everyone remembers the 2,632 consecutive games that he played. Crazy. But in 1997, what you don't realize is he was dealing with a herniated disc in his back. Doctors told him he was going to be out for 6 weeks. But he asked the question, if I can play through this pain, am I going to do permanent damage? And the doctor said, probably not. So he pushed through. He wasn't ignoring that pain. He was assessing it. And he was creating a distinction between hurt and harm. And that is the key to playing tough and playing smart. He knew his body. He trusted his doctors. He pushed his own limits. He went through immense preparation, going in early mornings to get treatment, just to get ready to be able to play, and then post-game recovery. It was not fun. I'm sure that his stats, if I went back and looked at the stats during that time, I'm sure his stats probably suffered, but he kept showing up and playing the game. Here's the takeaways. Temporary pain that doesn't risk injuries can often be endured. It doesn't need to be avoided. Pain that worsens, pain that feels unusual or doesn't improve, yeah, you get it checked. And teach young athletes this distinction so they learn to push through discomfort without risking serious harm. Smart resilience is about knowing the difference between pain and injury. The next thing I want to talk about, next section, is something called gate control theory and something called pain inhibiting pain. And here's where science gets cool about this. Your body can actually block or override pain signals. This is called the gate control theory of pain. When you bang your elbow on something or you get hit by a pitch, what do? What does everybody do? You stub your toe. You're going to rub it. You're going to shake it, right? You're going to put your hand on your back. You take a shot in the back. Maybe you run something under water. That's not random. You're activating touch fibers that close the gate on pain signals. Gate control theory, you're closing the gate on pain signals, trying to reach your brain. So touch, that physical touch, can help cancel out or help mitigate some of that pain. Even a parent that kisses your child's boo-boo, right? You had a scraped knee or you bump your elbow or something, right? And your mom says, I'm going to kiss it, make it better. That's the gate control theory. That touch plus the positive and affectionate emotion that goes along with it and the oxytocin that goes along with that helps the brain process pain better. So that's gate control theory. Then there's pain inhibiting pain. One strong sensation can dull another. Scientists call it conditioned pain modulation. So if you get hit by a pitch and then I punch you in the arm, that spot that you got hit by the pitch isn't going to feel as bad. That shot in the arm then, where I punched you, is going to have a little bit of pain, but then very quickly, both of those pains are going to subside. Cold exposure is another great example. That shock that teaches your brain to dampen pain signals. You get in the cold water, you're telling your brain, I'm okay, I can endure this, I can get through this. Over time, you're going to raise your pain threshold and help to relax your CNS, your central nervous system, to be able to endure and increase your resilience. It's the same way stretching works. You push your limits with stretching a muscle to help it gain flexibility, help it gain range of motion. It's uncomfortable. You breathe through that. And as you breathe through that, you're telling your central nervous system that you're okay, you're safe. And that's how you can get more flexible in your muscles and in your movement. Even other types of movement help too. If you've ever heard walk it off, well, that has science. So when you get hit and you're told to walk it off or you roll something, yeah, as long as there's not injury, that you walking on that twisted ankle is not going to cause more injury, then you can walk through it. And that is a painful movement, but that's helping tell your body and relax your CNS to lighten its grip a little bit, and you're going to be able to increase your recovery. So practical takeaways from this. Gate control theory, rubbing, shaking, touching an injury closes that pain gate and helps to recover faster. Cold exposure can help train your nervous system to handle stress and relax your CNS to be able to gain toughness and resilience. And then movement itself can help reduce pain as well. This is not cliche. This is science. The next thing I want to talk about, the next section of this, is about heat and cold. So quick but important, there's heat and ice. For years, the standard for recovery, especially for baseball players and a bunch of other athletes, was RICE, R-I-C-E, rest, ice, compression, and elevation. That science has shifted. Inflammation, while it is uncomfortable, is actually a part of healing. Same with a fever when you get sick. It's not comfortable, Too high of a fever can be dangerous, but that fever is what's helping to kill that virus. Inflammation, too much inflammation, chronic inflammation can be bad, but when you have an acute injury, that inflammation is helping to heal that injury. So that constant icing, thinking, well, I want to reduce the inflammation, can actually slow down recovery. So when should you ice? Acute injuries, fresh sudden hits or sprains, you want to ice that. Okay. It can help reduce pain and swelling in the short term. And if you need to get that swelling down quickly, if you need to get some of that pain down quickly, that is a short term solution. Absolutely. And again, I'm not a doctor on this. Okay. So I want to give that caveat. Overuse soreness, that constant icing, especially after, you're pitching, you throw 100 pitches, your arm's sore, you're told to ice it. You may actually be interfering with natural repair. And there's a lot of pitching coaches, there's a lot of organizations and sports medicine professionals that are moving away from icing post play for this reason. What about heat? Heat is great for muscle tightness and stiffness and chronic soreness. It helps to loosen up your muscles, increase blood flow, and helps tissues relax a little bit. So those are some differences between heat and ice. They're really important to understand. Again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical professional. I'm just taking, I do a lot of research on this. I'm taking the information I found. I'm taking the conversation I've had with professionals about my own pain and injury journeys and sharing that information here. If you've got other recommendations, other advice, other data, please share it. The more that we have here, the better it's going to be. On the topic of heat and cold, here's another one. We play baseball in the summertime. It's a summer sport. It's hot. Many of us, it's 90, 100, 110 higher degrees. Okay. We're out there, we're running around. Obviously, it's important to stay hydrated, but I see so many parents and coaches that are telling their players to stay cool. You need to put ice or a cold rag or a cold towel on the back of your neck. That's going to help you cool down. That's actually the wrong advice. So it might feel nice to have that on the back of your neck, but what's happening is that cold is actually sending signals to your brain through there's sensors right there that are kind of a direct signal, direct communication to your brain, and the brain's interpreting that as the environment is cold. It's time to warm up, and so it starts constricting blood vessels and starts raising your core temperature. And so what you think is helping is actually your brain is telling your body to warm up and get hotter. That is that is dangerous. That is the last thing you want to do. So if you want to cool down fast, you want to target spots where blood vessels are close to the surface. Palms of your hands, face, okay, bare spots on your face, soles of your feet, your armpits, your groin. Those are going to cool the blood directly instead of signaling to the brain to constrict those blood vessels and heat it up from the core or cool down from the core. So there's a difference. Get cool spots there, and that will cool you down very quickly and directly. Okay. And of course, always stay hydrated. So ice, heat, cooling. Ice, short-term relief for fresh injuries, reduce the pain and swelling. Heat, best for stiff muscles, ongoing soreness, loosening things up. Cooling, you want to target face, palms, hands and feet, things like that, not the neck. So that's part one. That's all about pain, the neuroscience of pain. I understand that was a lot of information. I kind of bounced around a little bit, but I wanted to hit you with a bunch of different things that are going on in the science. Again, pain is multidimensional: physical, sensory, emotional. Stress, sleep, and nutrition can change how much pain you feel. Hurt versus harm. Understand the difference. Know that difference between pain and injury. That's going to help you stay tough and smart. Listen to your body. Listen to doctors. Understand what you can endure and battle through and what you need to avoid because of risk of longer term injury. Okay. Pain modulation, the gate control theory, pain inhibiting pain. Touch, movement, shake things off. Cold exposure can help change the way your brain processes pain. And then finally, heat and ice. Understand when to use each and why smart application matters. In the next episode, we're going to shift from understanding pain to controlling pain. And I'm going to walk you through, going to sound weird. I'm going to walk you through peace and love. I'm going to walk you through the sea walk. And we're going to talk about a few surprising strategies. Parents, don't freak out on this one. You'll know what I'm talking about. But that science can show that'll help you endure in the moment. If you found this episode helpful, share it with a teammate, a coach, or a parent. Save it so you can revisit it before your next game or next practice. Subscribe and get those notifications so you can get part two. That's where we go from understanding pain to using pain as an advantage on the field. We'll see you next time.